for things. So equally, we want to jump into the next section of our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is Dr. Munang, and I just want to let him flow through with everything as he has seen Morning Boost from his own perspective, and so that he can be able to take us through some of the things he has learned and some of the things that he sees concerning the same. So Dr. Munang.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, to all of you who have joined in, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and good afternoon. Congratulations, Frank and your team. You've done not just well, but excellent. And what you've demonstrated is one thread that within the continent and even the world is underestimated, which is that we can do things on our own without anybody pushing us. Inspiring lives, as Dan did say, you touching lives across the continent. Somebody getting up in the morning and reading exactly what you've sent changes his or her life. So the topic I'm going to discuss today is optimism and consistency within the context of appreciating Francis and at the same time also ushering us to action, because words carefully spoken can inspire millions of people and usher them to action. We live in a world today that is constantly changing, and Africa is no exception. Every day, new opportunities and challenges arise that require our attention and commitment to overcome. In this rapidly changing world, it is more important than ever that we embrace the power of consistency and optimism to build a brighter future for our continent and even the world. Just imagine a gardener planting seeds in a field. They know that with time, care, and persistency, the seeds will grow into vibrant, beautiful plants that will bear fruit. In the same way, our dreams and aspirations, wherever we come from, must actually be nurtured with consistency and optimism, so that they too may flourish and bring abundance to wherever we are and also to our continent. In Africa today, wherever we come from, whether it is north, south, east, west, it doesn't really matter. We have faced many challenges as a continent: poverty, disease, conflict, and inequality. But we have also seen remarkable resilience and determination, with communities coming together to overcome adversity and build a better future. This we cannot underestimate, and this sometimes doesn't even get to the headlines. It is time for each and every one of us to take our resilience and determination to the next level. It is time for each and every one of us to turn our challenges into opportunities and unleash Africa's full potential. Here are 5 action points that I think as individuals we can be able to optimize and drive consistency and optimism in everything we do. And the first one is that we must embrace failure. We are in a continent today where failure is sometimes chastised. When you fail, it's a bad thing. Of course, then everybody becomes afraid to fail and end up failing. Isn't that paradoxical? Failure is not the end, but the beginning of a new opportunity to learn and grow. From what Francis has been sharing each and every morning, he's been inspiring people to know that when you fail, you move forward, and that failure is a stepping stone. If you don't fail, you cannot learn. And therefore, we must not fear failure, but embrace it as a vital part of the process of success. Practically, as we're speaking today, this means that taking calculated risk, experimenting with new ideas, and being open to feedback and learning from our mistakes must become our marching orders. By embracing failure, we can build resilience. By embracing failure, we can increase our knowledge and ultimately achieve greater success. And that takes me to the second point. We must become selfless. In everything that Francis has demonstrated, sharing, getting on every morning, sharing the morning boost. Nobody asks him to do that. He uses his time. He does it selflessly. And this is an ingredient that everyone everywhere in the world, and especially in the African continent, we sometimes call it that continent. Yes, sometimes call Africa rising. We hear every slogan about the continent today, but we must sit back and ask ourselves, what am I useful for? That's the purpose of life that comes with selflessness. Putting others first is the key to unlocking our full potential as individuals. And as a continent, we must strive to be selfless in our actions, putting the needs of others before our own. Practically, this means volunteering our time, as Francis has done every morning. Volunteering our time to support those in need. Making a conscious effort to listen and understand different perspectives and ensure that we can work together to find solutions to common challenges. That's what Francis has done. And that takes me to the third point. We must shun false narratives. In a continent today where anything bad we embrace and discuss, not from a solutions perspective, but from a blame game perspective, that must stop. False narrative hold us back. Spreading negativity and pessimism is not worth it. We must be vigilant in challenging these narratives and seeking out the truth, so that we can build a brighter future for the continent. Practically, this means we must critically evaluate every information we consume, seeking out diverse perspectives and promoting positive and empowering narratives that inspire and motivate others. That takes me to the fourth point, which is we must embrace the power of collaboration. Sometimes we don't want to work together. We don't want to work together, yet we expect miracles. The miracle is you yourself. Just by mere existence is a miracle. Working together, that's when we can achieve more than we could alone. We must seek out opportunities to collaborate and pool our skills, our knowledge to build a better Africa. And that's what France has demonstrated, that we can be able to touch a life in the western part of Africa, not necessarily having to go there. That touches people's life with messages, with inspiration, ushering them to action. Therefore, seeking out partnerships may not necessarily always be to see people physically. It may be through a message, and that can actually engage someone just through that. And that is very, very important for us to do. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the fifth aspect is we must stay focused and optimistic in everything we do, because consistency and optimism go hand in hand. By staying focused on our goals and maintaining an optimistic outlook, we can overcome the challenges that stand in our way and build a better Africa. And by practically doing this, we can be able to set achievable goals and prioritize our time and resources. And that takes me to the last point, which to me is the most important: cultivating faith and hope to drive solutions. I'll take a little bit of 2 minutes on this, because a seed may look small and insignificant, but with proper nourishment and care, it can grow into a strong and beautiful tree. In the same way, faith and hope may start small, but with cultivation, they can grow into powerful forces that drive solutions. Africa needs faith. We, the citizens, need faith. Faith works in a wonderful way, because if we self-believe in what we do, we can then be able to achieve greater things that are bigger than ourselves. It's a belief in things not seen. When we have faith, we have a sense of purpose and a foundation to build on. A practical example of faith in action is seen in people who have strong religious beliefs. They find comfort and strength in their faith, even in the face of difficulties, and this drives them to make positive changes in their communities. That's what Francis has reminded us every morning. We must have faith. We must have faith, and on top of faith, we must have hope. Because hope, on the other hand, is the spark that motivates us to take action. When we have hope, we are more likely to take risks and push forward towards our goals. For example, someone who hopes for a better future is more likely to invest time and energy into making positive changes in their lives and the world. That's what Francis has told us every morning. Faith and hope are interdependent. And when we have faith, it gives us hope. And when we have hope, it strengthens our faith. A practical example of this is seen in someone who has faith in a higher power. During difficult times, their faith provides them with hope. And this hope then deepens their faith. And to cultivate faith as an individual, we must be able to surround ourselves with positive and supportive people. That's what we're reminded of. We must practice gratitude and focus on the good in our life. That's what Francis has reminded us. We must set achievable goals and work towards them with determination. That's what we've been reminded of. We must take time for self-reflection and practice mindfulness. That's what we've been told all the time. We must find a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives and cultivate hope in ourselves and focus on the good in our lives and practice gratitude. That's what we must do, and that's what Francis has reminded us every other day. With all these distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and knowing that each and every one of us have been blessed by this morning boost, and somehow have become not only optimistic, but has ushered ourselves to action, we must never ever forget that in the midst of difficulty, the words of morning boost will always be with us. That in the midst of difficulties, we can be able to have faith to drive solutions, because it gives us a sense of purpose and direction. And that with consistency and optimism, we can turn our challenges into opportunities, and that we can unlock the full potential of Africa's continent and move away from blame game to solution speaking, and make the narrative change from complaining and blame game to solutions all the time. And that we must become resilient and selfless in our action and vigilant in pursuit of truth. And remember that every journey begins with a single step, and that step must come when we unite together. Because let us not forget the power of stories in this continent. Africa's stories have inspired generations. That's what Francis have done in the Morning Boost. And that has continued to inspire us today. Stories have reminded us of our resilience and determination in the face of adversity. And one such story is that of Wangara Maathai, a Kenyan environmental and political activist who founded the Green Belt movement. And despite facing opposition and discrimination, she remained steadfast in her mission to protect the environment and empower communities. And through her hard work, through her selflessness and optimism, she was able to make a lasting impact, not only in Kenya, but on the global stage. And through the Green Belt movement, she inspired thousands and millions of people across the world to take action and make a positive change in our communities. Her work has led not only to planting over 50 million trees here in Kenya, but has helped inspire others to restore degraded landscape and improve the livelihood. That's the power of optimism and consistency. Her story is a testament to the power of consistency and optimism and selflessness in the face of adversity. Let us follow her example and work towards building a better future for Africa and the world. Let us draw inspiration from what Frank has been doing, sending us morning boosts every morning, combining with the story of Wangara Maathai and the countless other African heroes who have come before us. By embracing the power of consistency and optimism, we can build a brighter future for Africa and leave a lasting legacy for the generations. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful, Dr. Munang. So beautiful. Thank you so much. If I wasn't the moderator of this meeting, I would have been lost somewhere taking lessons. As you can see, I have a pen in my hand. It's just lessons after lessons, and this thing is way greater than what we can see. And this is for this reason. If I could just jump a little bit into an industry, just to draw an analogy, I think this is the reason why architects are paid highly, because of their ability to see the unseeable, the ability to see that which has not yet been created, and be able to bring that which is more or less spiritual or something that has not yet been conceived or seen by the human eye, and then bring it to the ground. And as we are engaging in these conversations, that's exactly what I'm seeing, that the Morning Boost is way bigger than we had even seen it as part of the team of Frank Bigos, way greater. So thank you so much. We've taken much of the notes. I wish I could have time to review them, but failure, embracing failure. If I would say one key takeaway, and we should all go with it because we're all Africans here, failure. Embrace failure. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is the condiment that adds flavor to the story of success. The story of success that you'll have at the end of it, the condiment to it is that failure. So when you fail, dust yourself up, rise up, let's push up until we win.